So this is hey guys, this is Keith Bless here, and this is Jordan Ashton.
What's going on, guys?
We're hanging out in Jordan's room here in Chicago. O'Hare's right over there, by the way.
Yeah, I hear planes fly over constantly over my room.
Yeah,
It's Chicago O'Hare. It's like the busiest airport in the nation,
Yeah.
I believe. So it's like
One of the top in the
constantly.
world.
I was just like, well, I guess they picked this Hyatt Regency hotel.
yeah.
He's actually staying in another hotel, but the thing is like, I just hear these jets all night long. So I don't know, interesting stuff. But
Yeah, it's a little
completely
unusual.
off topic though.
Yeah, it's a little unusual for me. I live like in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Growing up, they always talk about like you could tell how rural you live by how long it takes you to get to a McDonald's restaurant. I don't know about you. I grew up where it was like 30 minutes to one, and where I live now, it's about 25. So I go out at night, I can see the stars. I love it that way.
Totally badass. I am from Denver, Colorado, and that's actually where our next event's going to be. I have lived in that city my entire life, so it's a little bit harder for me to get outside of the city. Unless I'm going up to the mountains, it's so nice because you can actually see the stars, when you get out of the city lights. And you know what I'm talking about, where you can just lie there and just be like, holy crap, there's stars. You know what I mean? You get out of the city, and it's just like so nice to be to get away. And you know what? That's the kind of lifestyle that I want to create for myself, to where I don't have to worry about resources in my life to
schedule. Somebody
schedules,
telling you
yeah.
you're not allowed to.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Having to fill out a form.
I want to be able to get up and pretty much do whatever I want to do and not have to worry about financial burdens. I don't ever want to have to like look at a menu item and say, can I afford that? When I go into a nice restaurant, I just want to be able to order whatever I want to order and not have to worry about it and take care of myself. I'm actually single. I don't know if what your story is.
I'm the opposite of single.
Yeah, he's
married
he's
with
married and
4 children.
4 children.
Yeah.
And so
You talk about a why. Get married and have 4 kids.
then you have a really good reason
why. Talk about a why. It's so what's been happening. We're actually shooting this the second evening. Jordan and I live on opposite sides of the country, meeting here in Chicago. I actually drove the whole way from Pennsylvania. I live in such a rural area that, from the standpoint of like connections and layovers and things like that, it was about the same amount of time for me and less money, frankly, to just drive here than to try and fly. Jordan tried to fly here directly, but
oh boy, we're opening up a can of beans, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I'm on my way to DIA, the airport in Denver, and I get there, and I'm on my phone, my little Travelocity app or whatever, and I'm checking my flight, making sure everything's all good. Because I heard that people were having troubles because there was some flooding going on here in Chicago because of some crazy thunderstorms that rolled through, like the most rain that this region has seen in quite a long time.
And it was moving east, so I drove through it on the way here.
6 inches.
It was crazy.
Poured, and one of our counterparts that was already here posted a picture of the parking lot from his room. It was a picture of cars like almost completely submerged in water. So that we're talking like probably 6 inches of rain over a span of several hours. I mean, the biggest storm I've ever seen in my entire life, because I drove through it as well, and I'm about to tell you what happened.
That's right. I guess you did.
So I get there and I go to check in. Nobody else is in line. It was a little bit weird. Go check in, and the guy is like, "Oh, you going to Chicago?" And I was like, "Yeah." Hand him my boarding pass, and he's like, "That flight was canceled." And right at that very moment, my heart dropped. I was like, "Holy shit!" Right?
We don't have the cleanest language here at these events. They're loving, caring people, but we don't get bleeped out.
Yeah. So you know what, and you know what, if you really, it doesn't really matter because I care about you And you know what? If I cuss, then and you don't like it, you don't have to watch this video. So I didn't know what to do. I go to 4 different airlines, okay, and nobody has tickets to Chicago because 300 flights were canceled the day before because of the storms. Unless I wanted to spend $1,000, right, on a United Airlines flight one way, and there's just no way I was going to do that. And I would have to refund my money from this other airline and then transfer money over to here, and it's just not going to happen. So go back over to Spirit Airlines after like 2 hours of frustration and standing in line at the airport. Awesome, right? And get back in line at Spirit. I asked Spirit, I said, is there any other flights going out today to that region? Because I got to get to this Empower Network event because this is where the real cold nuggets come out. This is where I can hang out with Keith and I can get to mastermind with our teammates and really just like and do videos like this.
This is the type
he
of
lives
event
on the other side of the country.
Yeah, and this is the type of event where you end up untucking your shirt, getting the event T-shirt, wearing a T-shirt over a dress shirt, and nobody even notices and nobody even cares.
Nobody gives a crap about that.
And then you got your cool Team Inspire bracelet. Oh yeah, Jordan, you got yours on upside down.
Oh,
I did it the first time too. Hey, a little bit about this guy while he's fixing the brain, and a little bit about Team Inspire. So, you know, we work with Empower Network, and we're talking about a blogging platform. Well, we have a private Facebook page. We got a private training site, and just so you know, Jordan and I actually, I believe, have the same sponsor. So, from one standpoint, he and I are competitors, right? So at one point, he put this tip on there about something that makes your post more attractive to people when they see it, you know, on a search engine. And he said, you know, here's some code, here's some steps you follow to make this work. And I did it, and I made a mistake. And then I went back and fixed the mistake. And then there was one step that you had forgotten to mention, and then when you posted that, then I went back and redid it, but with the mistake that I made the first time. So we couldn't get this thing to work. Yeah. Next thing I know, a guy I don't know at like 11 o'clock at night my time, and I know it's 2 hours earlier for you or whatever, is calling me on the phone to make sure we get this right.
Team Inspire.
Yeah, that's Team Inspire. That's it. That's it. And
in no way am I
connected
to him financially. In no way am I connected to him financially in any kind of way. But that's what our team is willing to do. We're willing to put our neck out there, no matter who you are, no matter whether you're someone on someone else's team. Well, within Team Inspire, of course, but not financially connected at all. Because you know what? We care about you. I only want to see Keith succeed. Yeah. And Keith only wants to see me succeed, right? So that's basically what he's trying to say here. And
we just came from a dinner where somehow I was talking to one of the other guys. We might have him in here later on another video or something. But we were talking about how it's like, you know, let's say you're in a pool and you got one guy that's like the superstar swimmer and you're an okay swimmer, and then you got somebody who can't swim at all, and somehow or another they find themselves in the deep end. And they're in a panic and they're flailing around. And the thing is, even if you aren't the best swimmer in the world, you're never going to let that guy just struggle like that. You're not going to let him drown. You're going to go over and do what you can for him. And if you can't do it on your own, you're going to find the guy back there who's a better swimmer than you. And that's how we operate.
Exactly. And you know what? We live, breathe, and teach success principles, not only within our team, Inspire, but in the company that we're involved in. You know what I mean? That kind of brings up a really good point, that success principles and having the right mindset is such an important thing to have in any business to be successful. Because if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not doing the right things, putting the right stuff into your brain, then you're not going to be putting the right stuff out. Yeah. And it's just super important and that's one of the reasons why we're making this video, because we want to explain to everyone, wherever you find this video, that we are real people, that we just want to help you, whether it's in this business or another business. We don't really care, because our products will teach you how to be successful in any business, and that's really what we're here for. And whether you have a struggle, you can come to Keith, you can come to Jordan, you can come to the other 150 people or so at this point in time
At this point,
on our
as
team,
of whatever date this
in
is,
our Facebook
April,
group, and ask whatever question you want. Whatever question you want, whatever you're struggling with at that time, we will stop. We will listen. We will not. We don't care what the question is, whether you're a beginner, a guru. I don't give a crap about that. Whether I can answer it, someone else probably can, and we will answer that question, and we'll get and we'll help you move on with your business, because no question is a dumb question. When it comes to your life, when it comes to your business, we will be 100% there for you. Team Inspire. And
there was.
What else do you want to say about that?
I mean, well, I'll just say something broader about the event. There's been a lot of time. A lot of the things that the company does during this event is they'll take sort of top producers and they'll bring them in early and get them. You talk about a focus on personal development. Get them professional training on their speaking ability and things like that. We saw a guy today who's one of the top producers in the company who gave us apparently his first speech ever. The guy hit it so far out of the park, I don't know how to describe it otherwise. But anyway, one of the things that I noticed is you've got certain people that are succeeding that have had success in other companies prior to this. I mean, let's just face it, they're a skilled marketer, they're experienced, they've had success in something else. Maybe one of the things that we've come across is people who lost that success because the company through which that success came fell apart. So then they've got, thankfully they're in a position where they got some skills that they could just transfer over, and they have an email opt-in list that trusts them, and they have maybe a presence on the internet some other way, or a huge YouTube channel. You name it. There's any number of things it could be. And then you got people who literally just came out of nowhere.
Right.
One of them, and I remember this.
Might be you.
Yeah. One of the comments.
We don't care.
We'll help you. That cracked me up was one of the speakers. It wasn't at this event that she spoke, but on one of her trainings that she did prior. Actually, said it this way: when I started, I didn't have no list. I didn't have no list, is the way she put it, and I thought, well, the grammar's horrible, and she's making huge money with horrible grammar.
She's making like $30,000 a month with Empower Network.
Yeah.
She was a bartender like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, by the way,
we mentioned income disclaimer.
Income disclaimer. We don't know if you're going to come into this business or any business for that matter. We don't know if you're a damn wussy or what, but you may not make anything. We don't know what you're going to do. We don't know what you're capable of. So you can always go to our income disclosure at empowernetwork.com/income.php. Check it out. Our numbers are actually.
I'm so glad you had that memorized because I could.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that one. Our numbers are awesome. I think it's like 50% of all the people in Empower Network are making something, making some money in this industry. And you can't really call us internet marketing. We're not really an affiliate program. It's kind of all jumbled into one.
I don't know what
I'll just call it the business. Let's just call it the business because it's not multi-level. It's not. Let's just call it the business.
It has a leverage element to it, but it's not multi-level.
It's not affiliate. And it's not really network marketing.
It's awesome. That's what it is.
It's something like this has never been done ever before. 100% commissions, guys. People on our team are having huge breakthroughs, huge successes. People that, like Joe Frias, that has struggled for years and years and years online, and just recently had his first $4,500 day.
I think 4,500.
Yeah, $4,500 day. Just out of one person can change your entire life.
Yeah.
You get one person that's going to go out there and and actually work their business and you bring one badass into your business, forget about it. You can make $60,000 a year off of that one person, guys. Our products teach you how to get those products, all the how-tos, how to frame your story right, how to sit with an associate like me and Keith Bless are doing and just sit here and start talking. We could sit here and talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
Because of what we learned at this event. Because of what we learned here in Chicago, we could literally just sit here and talk to you for hours because we see other people doing it, and it's like, oh, all they do is just sit there and talk like I'm talking directly to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a clue for you. I'm talking directly to you right now.
Yeah, there's.
Am I pulling too many
No, you
tricks out of the bag before they even click the button below?
I don't know if it's a trick. I don't know what you're calling it, but
you know what I mean?
Hey, you're wondering what the product is. I mean, you talk. Hey, before we get to that, one of the aside from all the we were talking about this earlier. Aside from all the producers that they have up, giving their speeches or whatever, we actually heard directly from 2 employees of the company today. An attorney. That just keeps an eye on things, making sure people are doing the right things.
He's actually the COO, Chief Operating Officer of the company. There's David Wood. He's the CEO. David Sharp's the president. He's the guy with David Wood's the guy with the vision. David Sharp is the guy that implements everything. And the COO is, and you can go back to your. I just want to make sure we have that right.
Yeah, but
so he's the CEO.
Yeah, basically, he's an attorney, and
he does all the hiring, firing, and legal crap for the company.
Oh,
to make sure that we're compliant.
No, we're talking about 2 different people then.
The CFO.
We heard from 3 people today then. 3 people today, yeah.
The lawyer.
Yeah, the lawyer.
He's the guy that hires, fires, and basically controls the entire company on the corporate side.
Yeah.
And he also does all the compliance stuff.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to get to, the guy was sharp. I mean, he stood up
Very
there
sharp.
with when you come to these sort of events, one of the really, really cool things is you see highly successful, highly unconventional people. People from all sorts of backgrounds, countries, creeds, colors, cultures, and this guy just kind of stands there in a sort of polished way, the way we think of an executive, and is clear in mind and can articulate the structure of the company and what's going on. We also heard from one of the technical folks who is telling us about some new things that are going to be available in our back office soon. You can tell just a high level of technical knowledge in a way to implement things in a way that average people can learn to use them. So and I think our product, the biggest thing I've gotten out of it is the concept of content creation.
Absolutely.
So you learn by following the 8 core principles,
which are like the most important thing to do on a daily basis.
You join up and
work
you find
2
out
hours a day.
Yeah.
You work 2 hours a day. You work your ass off 2 hours a day, and you bust through income producing activities, and you go through your things that you have to just get done in that day, and then you listen to the Inner Circle audios, and you listen to and what's so important about the Inner Circle audios, you might ask? What they are personal development training tools. It is a brain reprogramming system. I mean, some people say it's brainwashing, but we're brainwashing all the crap that we've learned over the years of this poverty mindset, right? That so many people have. Crap. All the crap, the poverty, all that junk that we've, just been programmed over the years to think that we can't do things because of certain barriers in our lives. And it's all BS, guys.
And let's face it, at a job, most of the time you hear what you can't do. What you're not allowed to do, what you're not capable of, not what you're good enough at. You come to these events, and there might be some acknowledgement of those issues, but what you're hearing is what you can do. And you can do it. Like, this person uses this strategy, this person's really strong in this area, this person's strong in this area. And as you're learning to create content, the company has some stuff you can just hijack in the meantime while you're doing that, which is especially powerful.
And I kind of want to just expound on that. The amazing people that you're going to get around when you come to one of these events, when you immerse yourself in an environment conducive to your success, getting around leaders that are going to lift you up and will believe in you, because I believe in Keith. I believe that, you know, he's going to be the next 6-figure per month earner on our team. And he's not even connected with me in any way, because this is the Empower Network. We lift people up. We don't give a shit. You're a family if you're with us. We're real people just sitting here having a conversation.
You could pull off 6 figures too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah, no problem. And he believes in me like I believe in him. And Jason Cardamone believes in us like we believe in him, because we're Team Inspire, baby, and this is Empower Network. This is the only business that you should look at, and you should just click the button below and join now, because we're real people, and there's no other reason.
Why wouldn't you?
Yes. And you know what? I'm just gonna go back to my story, because I think that's where we're going. We got really sidetracked there talking about awesomeness, but I want to get back to my story. So I'm in. I'm at DIA. Finally, get a flight to Detroit, right? And I don't know if you've looked at a map, but Detroit's not near Chicago. It's actually in the East Coast time zone. I had to drive, so I fly to Detroit later that night. So I sit in the airport all freaking day long, and you know what I did is I plugged in my laptop and I started writing blog posts.
Didn't you say you did some?
I did 2 blog posts.
You said you did some keyword research that you had learned
Yeah.
from some of our stuff.
Yeah.
Wrote about the flood.
Wrote about the flood, right? And I'm actually on page 3 right now for that. For that blog post is on page 3. And so I did some keyword research, and I was like, okay, this is trending right now. So I pulled out my laptop.
I want you to finish this story. I want you to finish this story. But one thing I've learned in Empower Network that I have not learned anywhere else, and this is a great example of it, is every setback becomes incredible content once you get through it. Exactly. Every setback becomes incredible content and makes you attractive once you get through it. So he's frustrated. You come to the airport, the flight's canceled. I'm not saying it's not an emotional time. It's not a frustrating time. But when you get opt-ins to your list because of that situation, and you make sales because of that situation, you're going to be thankful for this crazy combination of Empower Network and Team Inspire and the circumstances you encountered that day. So where'd you end up flying to again?
Detroit.
Never
been to Detroit in my entire life.
What's crazy, I stopped at a rest stop. I'm driving out from Pennsylvania. The timing didn't work, but I remember thinking, I don't even know this guy. Maybe I could pick him up? But you were actually ahead. Anyway, it wouldn't have worked, but it was a thought. And that's Team Inspired.
I think mine's the right way.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, I think I got it right.
So you land in Detroit next to the lady who's freaking out because she thinks you're landing in the water.
Oh my gosh. And yeah. So I finally get off that plane, and like, I don't know if you guys have ever flown Spirit Airlines. Well, yeah, so my seat was like falling apart. The lady next to me didn't have a seat belt. You know, it's just like the plane was almost like falling apart. It was structurally sound, but my seat was falling apart. Anyways, that's a completely different story. So I get to Detroit.
A seat belt?
Yeah, there was.
That's not.
And
good.
my seat was falling apart.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was bad. And like the wait staff, what do you call them in the air?
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Yeah, the guy was all sarcastic and like kind of like a dick. It was kind of funny. Anyways, so that's a completely different story. That's not for this video. But
Jordan and I both have a background in the hospitality industry, so we're a little more sensitive to stuff like that.
Exactly. So I'm just like, dude, really, bro. Anyway, so I get to Detroit and I finally figure out where my bag is and all that stuff. Thank God it was on the flight. Who knows with that airline. And so I go and rent a car. So I get on the shuttle, as you guys have probably traveled before. You got to get on a shuttle, and they take you to a lot, and then you get your car. It's about 12:50, a.m. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna breeze right through this Hertz line. No big deal, right?
Who rents a car at 1 in the morning?
Yeah. Who's getting flights to Detroit at 1 o'clock in the morning? The flight was full too, by the way. Stand in line for frickin' an hour and a half at the Hertz Rent-A-Car Center. There's one person working and like 9 people in line. And you know how long it takes for one person to get a car rental? It's not drive-through chicken.
Yeah.
It takes a little while. They had one person working and one guy that was like putting out all the fires because they have these automated machines. Have you seen those automated like machines where they have someone live come on the screen and you pick up the phone?
Oh, like a kiosk type thing?
Yeah,
I've never
they
used
had
it.
they had 4 of those, and they had, I think every once in a while someone would come online and then someone would walk over there and pick up the phone, right? And they would be on the kiosk forever. But here was the problem with that: their system wasn't jiving with the system in Detroit. So people would go do that thing with the automated system or whatever with a live person, and then they go out to get their car, and their car's not in the spot, and they have to come back. And I had this other guy that was working there that was putting out all of these other fires, trying to figure out why the car isn't in that spot and why this Ultima is over here and all this. So I was like, screw that. I'm not picking up the phone and doing that automated thing. I'm just going to wait in line and talk to a real person because I'm not going to sit here for another hour trying to figure that mess out. That's something I didn't tell you. And so it's 2 a.m. by the time I get out. By the time I get on the road, it's like 2:15. I pull out of the Hertz line, and not raining in Detroit at the time. I drive about 10 minutes out. I get on the highway, 10 minutes on. I don't remember I-94 or something.
90 or 94.
90, one of those nines, and I run into the craziest rainstorm I've ever seen in my entire life, and it was actually that rainstorm that flooded Chicago the day before, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Now I'm driving through this gigantic rainstorm. I can barely see. There's trucks everywhere because this is from Detroit to Chicago. There's cargo constantly going down that highway, and I'm sure you can relate. So it's like semi-truck after semi-truck, and they're just blowing, all this rainwater into my, and I'm in a car I'm not used to, never driven it before, and I'm driving down the highway.
And like, where's the windshield?
And I'm just like sitting here like this, oh my, just like totally stressed out, windshield wipers going as fast as I could get them to go. It's fogging up in the car. I got the window down. The rain's coming in. I'm like, something's got to give. Why? God, why did you put me in this situation? I went through this for a reason. I went through this for a reason. I knew in my heart and my mind and my soul that I was supposed to be at this event here in Chicago. The devil's just been playing a mean trick on me the entire way. And you know what? He almost told me, you know what? Screw this. Just go home and go back to sleep. For 10 seconds, I thought that. And then I called Jason Cardamone and I said, Jason, we got to figure this out. He's like, brother, you were meant to go on this trip. You have to find a way. And I said, you're right. I hung up the phone. That's Team Inspired. And so let me just finish this real quick. I finally, I stopped probably 3 times to, stretch my legs along the way, first leg, second leg, third leg, and then I just drove all the way. Rode into Chicago freaking traffic, and then as soon as I'm like tollways like crazy. I'm like, what is going on with these tollways?
They got some kind of toll booth racket going on in the city of Chicago.
It is insane.
At one point, you drive like a mile. There's a mile, and you get to the next one.
And it's twice as much as it was before. It's $1.70, and then it was $4.
Why
what is going on?
Just charge us 6 one time. I don't know.
Anyway. They literally have a toll. If you guys have ever been to Chicago, if you've ever driven up through around Lake Michigan, right? on the
I think
I-94,
so.
I believe, whatever that street is, or
Yeah.
highway. And
Yeah.
they literally, he's exactly right. They have a tollway, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, one tollway. And then you go over the hill, and there's another one. It's like, what is going on
And you know,
here?
it's like the drive. You got your wallet there, and you know you have to pay the toll, but you don't know what it is till you get there.
I didn't have any change. I had to put it on a credit card. And thank God I had my, credit card on me with, credit on it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
If I just had my business debit card, which I almost didn't bring my credit card because I was just going to use that the whole trip, I would have been screwed. I didn't know how I was going to get through those tollways. And there's freaking 1,000 people behind you honking and carrying on trying to get through.
And like I said, I live in a really rural area, and I love it that way. I really do. I really do. And I'm not used to 6 lanes, reading all these green signs, trying to figure out.
I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with the tollways.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got here. And I think I had gotten here first. And Jordan sends me a text message or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, have you registered yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have, but I'm headed back up there." And we met up, and one of the really neat things about the events, and it was one of the big reasons why I wanted so badly to come is, we call ourselves Team Inspire, but and we've had good relationships and a lot of great dialogue, but all internet based, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like being able to sit down in the same room with somebody and just have a conversation. And you know what? That's kind of where the magic happens, I think. When in the big events, how can I put this? In the big, in the auditorium, the leader who's speaking can't get up there and do anything that looks like, they're pitching their system, or, they have to sort of protect their team, so they do give you some generalities, but they can't get to the details. But in Team Inspire, we can. Like, we were talking about different tactics with, I hate to even use the word, but with autoresponder messages. How are we following up with people? How are you handling this? How are you handling this? And that's where it happens.
Yeah, because you know
When
what?
we're
not going to tell you on this video, because you just have to come to the next event in Denver.
It's
just going to have to come to the next event.
And even if we did tell you, you've got no context. We have no idea what you're ready for. We've been drinking glasses of water here. One of the things they talk about is you can only drink so much water at once. And, some leaders of the company are like, look, we've struggled and we've learned a lot. We've invested a lot in our own education. We've got I forget exactly the word, but gallons of water we could pour into you. But you can only sort of drink so much at a time.
Exactly.
And anyway, so there would be no. It's really about what you want to get to and getting the right mindset about it, and then framing your tactics around that. And for the longest time, I thought it was the other way around. I thought you used tactics to set your mindset, and I was wrong. And I see it now, and now that I'm through it, I can talk about it. But yeah,
it's another thing. I'm talking about this crazy how I got here, and because now that I'm through it, now I can talk about it because I'm through it, and this is valuable information because this is an amazing story that I just told you about how I got to Chicago and
if you met my
new good friend Keith here. I knew Keith from the Facebook page, but other than that, and then calling him on the phone once.
Yeah.
But now, being here with him and just hanging out in my room, just chilling, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
How about you, buddy?
I'm having a blast.
Sit here and
I'm
hang.
so glad I came.
I mean, earlier at dinner, you were saying how you had a couple nuggets that came out, but I want to know specifically what is it that, what is it about these events that are so magical? Because I got to tell you, man, seeing Empower Network live is just made my conviction and my level of belief that much bigger. I mean, I can sit here in front of a camera and tell you that with 100% conviction that this is where you need to be. And this is the only thing that you need to be doing because the people in this company are looking out for the people. They're looking out for you. You understand that? The whole reason why Dave and Dave started this company is to lift people up and actually get you to succeed. That's the whole reason they built this company, not for them to keep all the money, for us to keep all the money. Does that
like? And the way they have it structured, so that like, and I don't think I'm real different than a lot of people in this way. I mean, I heard of Empower Network quite a bit before I joined, but I joined with somebody I trusted. There's a lesson there. You join things. You want people to join you, they must trust you.
And if you're still watching this video, then
okay, that's
you gotta.
So, yeah. So anyway,
just get in.
I heard this expression, 100% commissions, and let's just be honest. My first thought was Ponzi scheme.
Yep.
Like there's no way a company can be solvent. I'm a reasonable, intelligent guy.
Right.
And then you start seeing how they do have it structured.
And it all freaking makes
sense. It starts to make sense, especially when you embrace the reality that the owners of the company get paid just like you do. The owners of the company get paid just like we do.
So they are affiliates in the trenches marketing just like us. You know why?
And they say, if you want to earn more than us, outproduce us.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Dave does not. And you know what? A lot of people are like, oh, you're out there promoting Dave Wood's brand. Oh, Dave Wood's brand. It's not Dave Wood's brand, guys. He could care less about that. And that's why he's not even in any of the videos, on the website. If you go check out our website, the corporate website, he's not in any of those videos because he doesn't give a shit about Dave Wood. He cares about you. He cares about lifting us up. Okay? I mean, I don't know how else to say that this is the most badass company I've ever been a part of, and this is where I'm going to be until the wheels fall off. And I know Keith is the same exact way. So what you need to do right now is just go ahead and pull your credit card out and get in for $25 measly. Join us right now. Click the link below this video and just buy right now. What else? You got anything else?
We might put the link to the side, but
it'll be somewhere.
You'll find it.
It'll be somewhere.
No, but you asked a question before about where the gold, the nut. We use this expression gold nuggets a lot. All right, and here's my take on it. We were talking about this, and I actually wrote something about this a while back.
I'd actually have to explain that one.
Is some of the training audios that are available.
Personal development.
Personal development audio. Yeah. Personal development. I can be as cynical as anybody. Let's say it's 2 hours long, and you feel like you've heard 155 minutes of it before. Now, a couple things. Just because you've heard it before doesn't mean it hurts to not to hear it. You got to hear it again.
And again.
It's like.
And again.
It's like. If you're a churchgoer, you would be really concerned if your pastor just stopped reading his Bible because I've already read that. I know it. No. you learn something every time. But a gold nugget is
study.
A gold nugget, almost by definition, hey, like a true Empower Network guy, I'm taking my shoes off.
Nice.
You'll get that when
That's
you come.
awesome.
You'll get that when you come to an event. So he.
Awesome.
But what happens is, we were talking about this. Every now and then, somebody will say something that makes you go to your mouse, pause, and you look at your screen and you think, "What did they just say?" And you back it up a little bit and you go, and something it's an
aha moment.
It's like, tactically, I never thought to do that.
Yeah. And it's usually like 3 hours in on a David Wood rant.
Yeah.
Something kind of like this, but 10 times, 1,000 times longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, holy crap. I just had the most aha moment, and those little gold nuggets of what we're talking about, could
And you
absolutely change and will change your life.
And you sift through a lot of dirt to find him. But it's like, the people that went to San Francisco and Alaska and all that in the 40s or 50s, whenever the gold rush was, like, you didn't mind. Well, I mean, you sifted through a lot, but what you found was worth it. So you learn. That's one thing that you kind of learn with Empower Network is frankly, is so long as somebody has a desire and a mindset, everybody has value. Everybody has something to offer. And there are some people in our company. I can't think of anybody on our team in particular, but in the company, I got a picture taken today with a woman they call, what did they call her? The
Wealth Angel?
No, the cancer beaten warrior. I might have the term wrong, but she earns a lot of money, and she
was that the black chick with the old head?
No. Well, she might be in the same circumstance, but no.
But it was someone else.
Yeah, and she I'd had some contact with her previously to join in the company, and just in general, in some other contexts, we just connected some other ways. So anyway, it was really cool to put my arm around her, and sometimes people are taller or shorter than you expect in person. She was short, so I got my arm around her, and I'm like, this woman's been through cancer treatment. This woman was writing blog posts from a hospital bed and making more than most people make at a job, by a lot. And
quite possibly, awesome. I don't know her story, but quite possibly in 1 month
that's awesome.
Making more than most people do in an entire year.
Yeah. And so I mean, they talk about the Empower Network and empowering, understanding that you can do it. Like I said, jobs so much of the time, especially like around performance appraisal time and things like that. Look, executives and these middle managers, you can only give so much out in raises this year. So I need you to do this with your reviews and make sure, people aren't ranked above this height because we can't, afford it. And then next thing you know, they're actually almost manipulating it to hurt you. I know I sound really cynical, but I'm convinced stuff like that happens. It's probably happened to you. I'm pretty sure it's happened to me before. And Empower Network is like, look, click this link, join. At some point, if you want, you can click this link, and we'll tell you how the compensation structure works. I actually don't know exactly how it works.
I don't think anybody knows except for Dave Wood. But it's an amazing
but it's like,
plan.
if you do this, you will get paid this. And we will not limit you. We are here to help you. We are here to empower you. We share the same sponsor. I had a good thing happen, and I earned some money, and somehow we had some dialogue about it. I don't remember exactly how it came about. And I wrote an email to him that said, I still remember this. I was like, honestly, I don't know how the compensation structure works. All I'm trying to do is create content every day, grow a list every day, get my list bigger every day, and then once people are on my email list, take the very, very best care of them that I can by not having a pitch fest, but giving them real information that can help them in their business.
Valuable stuff.
And I'm just going to let the chips fall where they will. So I got a response that I'm expecting to get yelled at. Well, not yelled at. He would never yell at us. But like, well, Keith, you should really understand the compensation structure. No, he wrote back and said, great. You don't need to know how it works. If you are literally doing what you just said you are doing, you're doing what it takes to earn. And then he put like, a dollar sign and like X, comma, XXX a month. Keep up the great work. And I'm like, all right, well then. And you got to understand real quick, I grew up in a home where my dad was going to lose his job. He was a teacher. He loved teaching, but union thing, they were going to go on strike. And he ended up getting into financial services as an independent agent. So he was actually an independent contractor type thing, doing business out of his home. And he ended up being like part-timer of the year in multiple companies. He did very well. I noticed that once a couple years into him doing that, our lifestyle changed. A couple things changed. And I remember my dad telling me at one point, he's like, I just wanted to take the best care of people that I could. And he said, I actually made it a point, I did not want to know my commission structures. I didn't want to sit down across the table from Jordan and his family and be, influenced by what I thought I would get paid. And I thought of that when I didn't. And I remember when I was 12 years old, we lost our pastor at our church to cancer. And my dad was their insurance agent. So my dad had to sit down with his pastor's wife, who had 3 young children, now a single mom, a widow, and do the paperwork to make sure that, they had their finances in order and all that, because of course they lost him and his income and all that. And I could just imagine, if you did not do what was very best for them, how could you live with yourself? That would have been, So anyway, that's my take on not understanding commission structures.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
That was a long story, but that's where I was getting to.
Dude, that's awesome. Totally awesome. And you know what? That kind of story is exactly, what she needs. That's a horrendous story, but like having to deal with all that financial stuff and having to get through all that stuff. What she needs is Empower Network. That's what she needs.
This was in the 80s, so I don't think Al Gore had invented the internet yet. But this was me growing up seeing that. Was it Al Gore that invented? Don't they give him credit for that?
It's the government. That
was always the joke.
It did start off as a government project, but I don't know if it was Al Gore.
But yeah, I was 12. Yeah, I was. Like I said, I was 12.
Yeah, obviously the Empower Network wasn't around in 1980, whatever it was. But
I'm sure.
But now it's 2013, and we've been around. We've been around just over a year, right? Just over a year, and we've paid out $21 million in the past 13 months in commissions.
They were
back to the people.
They were handing out checks today to some of the top producers, and they were like 5-figure checks. And I didn't realize until I came to the event. I knew that they did it. Of course, I'd seen. We'll probably have a link to the page with the, them holding checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'd always assumed that was an annual number.
Oh, we can use that. We can use that lead capture page for this video.
Okay. I always assumed that was an annual number, and it's quarterly.
Quarterly.
It's in the last
quarterly, guys.
Numbers with commas.
A couple commas in some cases.
I don't know. There were a couple commas.
There's some commas.
Yeah.
There were some
commas. Yeah.
We love commas over here at Empower Network. Team Inspire.
There was one guy that shared, and I won't mention his name just because of course he was recorded, but we don't want to be the one. A big name in internet marketing, a big name who had some things go wrong in his business, and like we talked about, he was in foreclosure in a mansion, couldn't drum up the money to in the winter fill the propane tank for hot water and heat and all that. And I only ever looked at this guy as
in the highest respect.
I only had, I'm thinking he's one of those gurus that only cares about his enrollments. I mean, in one company that I've worked with, and you see,
what he did though. That is all he cared about at a certain point, and that's why his business took a downturn, because all he did care about is.
That's possible. I don't know.
But now that he's.
But when you hear that other side, the human side of a guy who.
Oh my gosh.
What didn't he say? He bought his wife a bracelet and then had to hawk it?
Okay, he bought a Porsche for his wife, and then he had this house, $1.4 million house or something.
And ridiculous. I've seen that house on lead capture pages on the internet.
Yeah, so
you might know
what we're talking about.
You've probably seen the house.
So he was 10 days before the bank was literally going to sell his. I think
They
it's
were going
10
to
days.
auction it.
Auction it on the court steps, and he would have been homeless. He went from having this gigantic, huge organization, right, to having nothing. Got into Empower Network, and now and then what did he make? I don't know.
It had commas.
63. I think it was like between 40 and 60. I think it was like $63,000 in a 30-day period. Saved his home, saved his marriage, I'm sure, and he has 2 small children. They kept the house, and all thanks to Empower Network, of course. And now he's living his life on purpose. Now he's living his life the Empower way. What is that?
We just heard a buzz.
Anyways, you want to close this out?
Yeah. Pleasure doing this video.
Absolutely, Keith.
We still got a couple more days of this. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. We might do another video, or we might just keep this on.
I don't know. In the meantime, I want to make sure that's an innocent buzz and nothing dangerous. Dude, that was awesome. I hope the whole.
So, anyways, guys, we don't want to make sure that was my phone. I don't know. Someone in our team is probably trying to get a hold of us. We need to get Paul on there. We'll see you guys, I'm sure, in 3 months in Denver. Right? So is that it? Click the link somewhere on this page.
Yeah.
And just get in. Click the link below.
We clicked a link at one point. We're glad we did.
Absolutely. So just pull out your credit card. It's 25 measly dollars. It's a cost. It's like 80 cents a day. Come on, guys. Anybody can do this. And if you don't have $25, and let's just be honest, you probably shouldn't be watching this video right now, because you need to probably just go get a job if you can't afford $25.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.
All right.